And we're talking very subtle now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting, because we're talking about the idea of like, you can have this thought, realize that you've had the thought, but not be entwined in it, sit back and let it go past, which is a real subtle little mechanism in there. Yep. So this inevitably won't come naturally. This isn't going to be a natural thing that happens straight away. This is something that we typically have to kind of like train ourselves into. Once you've had that thought about the tomato soup and you let it go, did it come back again?
No. Just like really, and then I just sort of like, I moved past, like I could feel other thoughts coming through.
Yeah.
And then I just like really focused more on my breath, and that the more that I could hone the subtlety of that, interestingly, the more that scape seemed to just move by. Yeah.
Cool.
It's really subtle, but really interesting.
Great. So this is what will happen. You'll recognize that a thought will come up, it'll come into your awareness, and then if we're not able to attach to it, it will come past, it will move by. And it's really interesting because the thoughts sometimes will come out of your body. I have witnessed a thought come out of the heart, move up through the body, come into my awareness, and then pop out. And it's really funny because it kind of talks to the idea that where are our thoughts kind of coming from? Our thoughts are based on the impressions of our senses. Our senses are how we kind of interact with the world. So, like, how do I know that I'm here? Well, I can feel that I'm here, I can see it, I can taste it, I can smell it, all these things. That means that life is being experienced with us through the senses. And as these senses come in, our mind will inevitably go, this is the ground, and this is a chair, and these are how I think about things, and I like that thing, but I don't like that thing. And what will inevitably happen is that the mind will kind of code things in a particular way. It will hold on to particular impressions. And when we're meditating, those impressions will come to the surface. What about this? What about that? Tomato soup? All these different things, right? Tomato soup is good. I like tomato soup too. That's probably my favourite. So what that means is that when you get into that moment of quietness and you quiet down the mind a touch, or you quiet down your awareness a touch, you have an ability to start to see your impressions. And you start to see your conditioning, and you start to see the things that are going on within you. And if we're able just to witness those things, just to be aware of them, but not be attached to them, we can allow them to move through us. And this is really interesting, because what this starts to lead towards is that there is less of these parts of our awareness that are getting trapped within our impressions. So my awareness is, I'm experiencing the world, I've got an awareness of the world, and I'm not trapping an impression based on it. This person's terrible, that person's great, I like this, I don't like that, whatever the thing might be. It comes in, we experience it, and then it moves through us. Just like that thought, that tomato soup thought. You experienced the thought, it was in your awareness, and then it moved through. Life is happening, it comes into our awareness, we don't attach to it. That doesn't mean that we're not living our life and still engaging in what we're doing, but life has an ability to move through us, move through our experience, and then we let go of it once it's passed. Coming in, coming out. Within Taoism, they'll talk about this is the kind of the Tao, the flow of life. Life flowing in, being experienced, life moving through. When we have resistance to how things are, when we've got resistance to how life is being experienced, that causes suffering. Something's happened. I don't like this thing. The don't liking of the thing is the suffering attached to it, because the thing's already happened. Oh, a nice thing happened, I want more of that. Well, there's no more there, right? But the attachment to the wanting the more is the thing that causes the suffering. And this is an inevitable process of the mind. The mind will keep on making these attachments, right? But that's the thing that will perpetuate the suffering. And so our ability is, can we develop our awareness to the point that we can recognize these experiences as they're occurring and let them go as they're leaving? When it comes in, I experience it, I embrace it, I live in the present moment as best as I can, and as it moves through, without clinging, without hanging on, without creating resentment, tension, things along these lines? Can I let it pass? And as we do this over time, within ourselves, we will find these old attachments. We will find these old perceptions, these old bits that we're getting stuck in. And then we'll recognize them with that awareness, that meditative awareness, which will allow them to move. And then they'll move. They'll free. They'll untrap themselves. And you may have physical sensations with this. Within yoga, they talk about kriyas and all these things. The body shakes and the body moves and does all these things. And weird energy channels will start to open and things will move up through your spine and all sorts of weird, wonderful things. Because your awareness has changed. And as your awareness has changed, your physiology changes alongside of it. I mean, we know through modern science that the neural system drives a lot of the other systems within the body. So as we start to change our perspective, the way that our body functions in this world will change, and then the sensation in your hands will change. Your voice may change a touch. You'll have a different awareness of what's going on because these bits that are trapped within us are fundamentally changing how we're experiencing the world. And it's actually doable. Like everything I'm telling you guys isn't anything miraculous or anything far-fetched. You will meet a lot of people who have done this stuff and who are doing it, and it's really normal. It's kind of part of everyday biology. It's just once we recognize that process and we can apply a method over time that this path of purification is what they talk about within Buddhism. This purification of our awareness will start to occur. And once it's got some momentum, it won't stop. It'll keep on going and keep on clearing. And then the new experiences won't be getting as trapped as much. Maybe you'll still be a little bit trapped in that thing that used to get you. Maybe you'll still be a little bit self-conscious about that particular thing, but it will move more freely through you.